within and surrounding Baltimore. Don't ask him about preseason games, oh no. Stuffing things in Griffin Bass, so despite it being on the internet, he can call it what he wants, so Glenn Clark Radio, Glenn Clark Radio, Glenn Clark Radio. Duke sucks.
Tyler Linderbaum is very, very rich. A historic deal for the center position, for the interior offensive line position. The Las Vegas Raiders, who need a lot of players and have a lot of money to spend, spent a lot of it and brought in a lot of players, including this guy. 3 years, $81 million for Tyler Linderbaum. $60 million of that is guaranteed. The Baltimore Ravens, his own team, where he was an all-pro, made a run at him, offered him a 4-year deal, just wouldn't go to a 3-year deal for an interior offensive lineman in free agency. It is unprecedented for these big money type deals, especially with the upfront money, the guarantees. This is an enormous deal. I know the Washington Commanders were in it as well. It doesn't really seem like, to be honest, anyone came close to the Raiders. Tom Brady, having a big say in what the Raiders are doing, knows the importance of a good center. So Tyler Linderbaum goes to the Raiders. And then the other.
That was from NFL Network yesterday, as obviously it was certainly a day of exodus from Baltimore. Ravens losing 7 key free agents on the first day of legal tampering. Again, incredible how it all comes together like that. Tyler Linderbaum being the big one, as Tyler Linderbaum heads to Vegas. He becomes a Raider. A lot of them head to New York. Isaiah Likely, Jordan Stout, and Ardarius Washington all head to New York. Draymond Jones, we were on when that happened yesterday. He heads to New England. Alohi Gilman to Kansas City. Charlie Kohler to the Chargers. So 7 on day one, all head out, and as Jamison Hensley says there, they combined for 3,464 snaps last year. So far, in addition to Maxx Crosby, the only addition for the Ravens is John Simpson, who presumably he's
just going to play all 3.
Well, I was going to say Maxx
lines.
Crosby would just do all
yeah.
that. Max,
Okay, yeah.
Somebody asked me that last night. Like, well, what are they going to do about all this? I'm like, well, they have Maxx Crosby.
He'll play O-line and
Yes.
D-line. And
Just plays all of them. Like, they're like, well, what about tight end? Yeah, Maxx Crosby. I don't know if you heard. He's Maxx Crosby.
I guess they have to bring Ricard back now to play guard. Like,
Potentially,
Yeah.
right? Like, that might be the way that it
maybe
goes.
Declan Doyle doesn't run a fullback offense, but
Yeah.
they can.
Look, man, obviously, we all know that's a lot of players. And there's all sorts of ways of looking at it, right? Like, I know there was a tweet from Ian Rappaport that was going around last night that I think it was even before Alohi Gilman that said, like, they've now collected in the 2022 – oh, that doesn't – he wouldn't count there.
Yeah, not the Gilman. But
the 2022 draft class had collected like $300 million in total contract extensions, and Daniel Faalele could still end up getting a contract this offseason. There's many different ways to look at it. Like, yesterday was funny because he said the Ravens now, without 2 first-round picks, have to draft better. Well, someone would say, well, isn't 2022 proof of how well they can draft? And to an extent, yes. Yes, absolutely it's proof of that. But they need to hit more, and then is there criticism about them not being more aggressive early in trying to lock up players? I don't know. We talked about this with Isaiah Likely. The Isaiah Likely thing appears to be unfortunate. Based on everything that we have, it seems as though the Ravens offered Isaiah Likely a contract extension basically akin to what he got from the Giants. Isaiah Likely chose to bet on himself. I think we all believe that Isaiah Likely was primed for a breakout star turn season. It didn't happen. the Ravens decided they didn't want to go into free agency without a tight end on the roster, so they gave money to Mark Andrews, and once they did that, they priced themselves out of even the secondary market. Also, Isaiah Likely clearly would like to be somewhere where he would be the number one option among the tight ends. So he is. Did the Ravens fail there? Because it's totally possible that Isaiah Likely will prove to be better than Mark Andrews? I don't know. I thought he was going to be this season, and that didn't prove to be the case. And Isaiah Likely, as we talked about like 2 weeks ago, has had the weirdest career. Just the weirdest, most snake-bitten. His best moments ultimately proved to be forgettable because they came in losses. Not his fault.
Some his fault, maybe. I don't know.
Well, I mean,
the Thanksgiving one I keep going back to.
Well, that's not his best moments. I'm saying his best moments, like the touchdown.
Like the 4th and 7 in Pittsburgh.
The 4th and 7 in Pittsburgh. There should have been tying touchdown against the Bills, but then Mark Andrews drops the 2-point conversion.
I forgot he scored the touchdown.
Yeah, even in the Chiefs game,
the Kansas City toe game. Yeah,
even in that game,
he had a catch on the drive. Yeah,
I believe he did. Yes. So even his best moments are semi-forgotten because they came in losses. Then there's all the weird or bad moments, right? Like the toe and the thing against the Steelers at home this year, and then, as you point out, the Thanksgiving thing. It's the weirdest. Defining Isaiah Likely, man, is really difficult because we all know the athleticism and the talent. It's all there. But yet it never really came together the way that we thought it would. Now, if there was no Mark Andrews and they just kept throwing the ball to Isaiah Likely all the time, I don't know. I don't know what the story would be. We know what he's capable of doing. This happened. That's a thing that occurred. Thank you, NBC. We all saw it. And it's certainly not his fault that it's forgotten a bit because Tyler Loop missed the kick afterwards. It's the weirdest thing, man. Yeah, I don't really care about offense. It's just a weird career for Isaiah Likely. So do you get on the Ravens about Isaiah Likely? That one's tougher for me. You want to have a conversation about what they should have done with Tyler Linderbaum. I don't know. I guess we could have the conversation.
I mean, I was very much in favor of doing whatever you possibly could to get Linderbaum back. But then when you look at the deal he got, and it's just no one can compete with that.
If the Ravens had picked up Tyler Linderbaum's 5th-year option, it would have cost them $23 million, I believe, if I remember correctly. So that would have gotten them one more year, and perhaps given what they just did with Maxx Crosby, you could argue that they should have done that to just be all in on this year. It still would have been significantly more than any center had been paid. And I think as much as any interior offensive lineman had been paid. I believe Trey Smith was the highest AAV interior offensive lineman. Warren Sharp pointed out the center market went from $18 million to $27 million. $27 million, again, was the number that was going to cost on the franchise tag. And we were like, you can't give someone you can't reset the market by $10 million. If that was going to be on the table, it's tough. I mean, it really is tough. Should the Ravens have chosen to hold Tyler Linderbaum hostage and said, look, the market's going to go up. Yes, it's only 18 right now, but that's going to go up, so at least for 1 year, we should try to keep him around? There's definitely an argument for that. There's absolutely an argument that in hindsight, as Kadri Ismail brought up yesterday, they should have done that. Should they have tagged him? I don't think so. I still think that number is unreasonable and just not practical for success. But I say that somebody was willing to pay it because the Raiders have an insane amount of cap space, and so they were willing to pay it. As Ian Rappaport pointed out, the Ravens were swimming in the total value waters, but at closer to 4 years, or at 4 years. And again, that does, when Eric Costa said we offered a market-setting deal, if those numbers, which I was, somebody, I don't remember where I heard, but somebody had said 481, something like that. If those numbers are true, that would have been a market-setting AAV deal.
For what the Ravens are. Well, I thought was it 488?
Was it 488? And somebody else might have said 48. I thought I saw 481, and I didn't. Again, it doesn't matter because he's not going to be a Raven. But anything above 18 AAV would be a market-setting deal because Creed Humphrey at 18 AAV was the highest. So, yes, they did. They offered that. But somebody had more money to spend and was willing to spend it. And then there's the question about the wisdom of spending at center like that. And even for a good one, I don't know. It's tough to have a day like this where you lose a bunch of football players. And obviously Keaton Mitchell's name isn't even officially on the list yet, but presumably they're losing. Okay, Jeff Zrebeck said 488. Presumably they're losing Keaton Mitchell too. And it just looks overwhelming on paper. You're like, my God, look at everything you have to make up for. And you don't have a first-round pick in order to try to get someone that you are confident can play immediately.
So many comp picks they got yesterday?
That's true. There's a lot of work to be done. John Simpson and Maxx Crosby alone do not make up for it. But there's time, and we know how the Ravens operate. And they are going to be looking at players that get released, and they are going to be looking at their protecting. Like, they almost certainly, in losing Tyler Linderbaum, are going to do everything. They're going to be hell-bent on making sure that they hold on to that third-round pick. That doesn't help them this year. No. That would be next year. But, like, that's more about, like, pride. Like, if you're going to lose Tyler Linderbaum, you better have traded him for a third-round pick and not just lost him. But they have plenty of other players that would qualify for compensatory picks that they can cover up if they want to sign some guys and still keep that third-rounder for Tyler Linderbaum. It's a tough day, man. It's a tough day. Did some of these guys get overpaid? I think there's no doubt. Is that the way that football works? Is it other guys have money? Does it go back to how in the world did this team? How in the world did this team go 8-9 if all of these guys were this desirable with everybody? I mean, all of these are. We could have whatever discussion you want to have, but at the end of the day, they have the team that they have. They have a top-heavy skill position player group of 4, arguably 5 guys. And again, then a couple of question marks behind that. They have a top-heavy quarterback, running back, and the 5th guy would be the receiver. And they have a top-heavy edge rusher and safety. And then who knows about Nnamdi Madubuike and what version of Roquan Smith you're getting. That's what they've got. And they got to work around that. And even the 4 that are sure things, and Zay Flowers is a sure thing. He's just not a true number 1 wide receiver. He's a very good one. So I'll call it 5 sure things. The 5 sure things you have are 5 really good sure things to have. Now they got a lot of work to do to fill in around them. Some of it will be internal. Emory Jones might very well be their starting guard next year. Or it might very well be that they plan on rotating Jones and Voorhees again next season. And they think that combination works as, we've got 2 guards and we've got 1. Everything else they got to figure out. Maybe Corey Bullock's ultimately going to be their center, and maybe he'll prove to be capable. Or they believe they can find a starting caliber center on night 2 of the draft this year. There have been plenty of those guys that have been like, center is a position that you're usually finding your starters or guys that become starters in that range. They have to find more tight end help, clearly. Will that come on night 2 of the draft? Will that be?
They've been successful at that, at least. We know
they've
that
definitely
for sure,
been able to find those guys,
tight ends.
no doubt about it. In fact, Well, that's not
Kohler, likely.
Well,
Andrews,
I was going to say they're better at finding mid-round tight ends than first-round tight ends because I was going to point out Hayden Hurst. But, like, yeah,
congratulations.
Hayden Hurst, he announced his retirement. But Todd Heap was also a first-round pick, so. You know, they were pretty good there. That one worked out pretty well.
50% on first-round tight ends.
Yeah.
100% in the other rounds. Probably not.
Ed Dixon was.
Yeah,
he was started in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That's true. Ed Dixon had a better career than people realize. It's just that Ed Dixon was almost the original Isaiah Likely. Like
what round was Dennis Pitta?
He was a round after Ed Dixon. I think like Dixon was the third and Pitta was the fourth, if I remember correctly. But like we all had this belief that Ed Dixon was like primed to be a breakout, and it just never really happened. He was more of a blocking tight end, and he was a good one. And obviously there was a reason why he started in the Super Bowl. But just never became that guy. So, they got a lot to do. They do. They have a lot to do. And it's tough. On paper, it looks like you lost all your players, and what do you have to show for it? But
Maxx Crosby.
Yeah, that is the answer. That is the answer, is you have Maxx Crosby. And that's a good answer. Like, if I said, would you rather have Maxx Crosby or Alohi Gilman and Isaiah Likely?
You would also have 2 first-round picks. Well, one each year, but probably still Maxx Crosby.
Yeah, I think I'd still rather have Maxx Crosby. I do. Now, I get it. Like, if you said, well, all 7 of them and your first-round pick, like, at some point you could make it so, I get it. It does become a net loss, but you're going to lose a lot of that anyway. No matter what, you were losing a lot of that. We'll see. We'll see. There's a lot that needs to be handled. We're going to talk more about Maxx Crosby in a minute. Marvin Lewis was with Max out in Vegas a couple years ago. We'll talk to him about what the Ravens are getting. Later on in the program, Trevor Rogers. You've heard of him. Might very well be the Orioles' opening day starter this season. He makes a return appearance here on GCR. And before we get out of here today, Chad Reuter from NFL Network, NFL.com. We'll talk to him about what the Ravens gave up with the 14th overall pick. He, of course, is their draft analyst. And then what they can do with the picks they have later in the draft. All of that coming up on a Tuesday edition of the program. Today's show is brought to you by Live Casino and Hotel. Just over a week away from March Mania unfolding inside Sports and Social at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. The best place to watch all of the games if you're skipping out on work, playing hooky. The best places inside Sports and Social. Amazing atmosphere, 100-foot media wall, great food and drink specials, great giveaways during the games. But you got to reserve your table or your reclining chair now because they are going to fill up for March Mania at Sports and Social inside Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. Talking about Maxx Crosby. Someone who knows Maxx Crosby from the time they spent together out in Las Vegas is a friend of ours, former Ravens defensive coordinator and NFL head coach, and just all-around good guy. It's always a pleasure to welcome back to the program Mr. Marvin Lewis, who is back with us now here on GCR. Coach, it's Glenn back in Baltimore. Always great to catch up with you. Thank you for taking the time for us this morning.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Everything is good here, Coach. When you arrived in Vegas a couple years ago, Maxx Crosby was already entrenched as a superstar. What jumped out at you just being around him that maybe helped explain why he had become so good and so special in this league as kind of, out of nowhere as a mid-round pick out of Eastern Michigan?
Well, I think I will tell you this. It was before I got to Las Vegas. Literally when Antonio Pierce took over as the interim head coach, he had asked me to, hey, when can you get here? And I was still working for Kenny Dillingham at ASU. And so we had 3 more games left at ASU, I think. And so anyway, but right away they sent me a login so I could watch practice every day and then look at the opponents, etc. But I watched practice every day. And literally after the first practice I watched, I think it was the Thursday after Antonio took over, I called him and I said, dude, you got something special. your best players, Maxx Crosby, this guy, 99, Josh Jacobs, and Devontae Adams, they practice so hard. So, you know, part of the thing is to get your best players always to be the best in practice, to be the best in meetings, to be the best training, because that's what everybody gravitates to. And Max is great that way. He's got an incredible motor, but he's got the discipline of, you know, he's developed himself into this player because how he goes about preparing. You know, he studies the game, he studies the opponents, he trains himself to try to get through the season. But you know, he's just very disciplined that way. He uplifts his teammates. So a lot of positives to Max.
I feel like that, like beyond what he's going to bring on the field, what you just described, and we're obviously trying to define, hey, the Ravens gave up 2 first-round picks. They already did it. So the answer is it was worth it. We're trying to analyze the value of it. But what you're describing is maybe why his value goes beyond just, you know, his production or what he's going to do on the field, and how that might rub off on other players. How much did you see that during your time together?
Well, you already have 2 great leaders there, and Kyle Hamilton and Roquan, and, you know, obviously Lamar on offense, and Ronnie Staley's been around for a while, Stanley. So you got a lot of guys. You got the young tackle on the other side. So there's a lot of positives already in that building. And I almost liken it to when Ozzie brought in Shannon Sharp. And we had already done Rod Woodson in 97. And with the addition of Shannon, it was another person that made it okay for Ray to be special. You know, it was another person for him to emulate, to help mentor him, that it was okay to walk ahead and be special and be, you know, learn the game. And I think Max is kind of in that position, can add a little bit of that to the Ravens, and they'll add to him. Kyle and Roquan will add to him on defense.
He is Marvin Lewis. He's with us here on GCR. Marvin, one of the conversations that we've had, there are people that would look at Maxx Crosby and say, right, but you know, he's had 17 sacks total over his last 2 seasons, and you know, Trey Hendrickson had 17 sacks just 2 years ago himself. Can you give us some context on why Maxx Crosby might be even more impactful than just simply looking at his sack totals?
Well, I think he's gonna do a great job playing the run all the time, but I think his preparation in the game planning and how he's going to study and so forth, the opponent, he's going to be a leader in that room. And he's going to, you know, he's going to have to figure this one out, but trying to hold everybody to that standard, because he's going to uplift that front group with energy. And, and, you know, Max missed a few games. The last 2 seasons, he's missed the games at the end. And that's impactful on it, but also being able to have somebody on the opposite side also makes a difference. During the 24 season, Malcolm Kuntz got injured before we even started the season. So, you know, if you look at 23 and how impactful the 2 of them were on the field together, but when, you know, you need somebody on the other side, so they can't just turn the protection over to Max all the time.
One of the things, and I brought this up, we were talking with Kirk Morrison about it yesterday. There was a really interesting tweet that Warren Sharp had sent out about how much time, and I'm not trying to rub it in because I know you were part of this, but how much time the last 2 seasons Max was on the field while the Raiders were trailing. And obviously the assumption is in Baltimore that with Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, you'll be ahead a bit more, and I think we all know that when you know, opposing teams are trailing, they're more inclined to throw the football, and when they're leading, they're perhaps less inclined. Like, is there a world where, like, even that sack total could go up just because there's more of an opportunity to maybe go tee off a little bit on quarterbacks?
Yeah, well, he's played the last 2 years without a quarterback.
Yep. That's
or 3 years or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? without a stable quarterback position and a productive quarterback position, and that makes a huge difference. The NFL is about passing and quarterbacks. That's why they're compensated the way they are. That's the way they're protected the way they are. And you know what? You better get ready to protect your quarterback when Maxx is on the field.
He's a big personality, right? Like, what is does that ever?
Not really.
Okay, tell me.
Not really.
Because like the guy that we see the public persona, like he does a lot on social media. What is he like within a locker room and within?
He's a genuine person, a genuine teammate, great family man, great with his family, his wife and kid, daughter, and yeah, it's weird, but in the building, he's generous to his teammates. You know, he's one of those guys. He's good for the team.
We love that, right? Like, so it sounds like, Marvin, that your argument would be that it was very much worth spending 2 first-round picks to bring in.
Well,
Maxx Crosby.
I think, you know, obviously Eric, et cetera, Steve, whoever, Ozzie, you know, Jesse is the new coach.
Yep.
Looking at where we are with Lamar, where we are with Derek, and hey, this is our time. What can we do to push over the hump? Roquan, you know, what can we add to push us over the hump? And, you know, obviously they gave up a lot. And then, you know, now traded the center also, I guess.
Essentially, right? Yeah.
Yeah. But, you know, that's kind of which, you know, it worked out pretty good for the Rams a few years ago.
100%, right? Like they got a Super Bowl out of. They traded away basically all of their picks. They said we don't need any of them, and it turned into a Super Bowl. But what you point out, you know well, right? Like this really is obviously very unlike the Ravens to do something like this. But I think what you just said, you know, I famously, right? You remember the purge that happened after winning Super Bowl 35, and you know how Ozzie had said we're not going to do that anymore, but. It does feel like what you just laid out, that this is the moment. Like if there was ever a moment to say we need to be proverbially all in, even if we think Lamar probably still has 7 years in front of him, Derrick Henry might not. Like it does feel like there really is a moment in front of the Ravens to say it's time to be aggressive. It's time to do things that maybe we wouldn't have done in the past.
Yeah, there's no question about it that they've made that decision, and now you push forward. There's no looking back. You push forward, but I think, you know, again, I think the change is great for Maxx. I think Maxx will be great for the Ravens, and that's what's best about, you know, when you add a free agent and a guy. You know, the guy has worked his tail off through some not as rewarding seasons. Yeah. And the personal rewardment is winning solves all issues. You know what I mean? Everything's better with winning. And no question, I experienced that in my time as a Raven. And, you know, from the, you know, coming out of the ashes of the Zenith from 96 to where we ended up. So, and it's just continued to grow and be great. And there's always going to be little bumps in the road. But, you know, they've had a steady hand and, you know, through leadership and so forth, and continue to, you know, find a way to put a great product out on the field.
Marvin, let me wrap with this, because my sort of overarching opinion is that they've needed this closer since Terrell Suggs, that for as good a defense as they put on the field, right? And they put some really good defenses. You know, heck, just 2 years ago, there's a reason why Mike McDonald's the head coach in Seattle now, right? Like, they had a really good defense, but they haven't had the guy, the wrecker, to go win games. And my opinion is you can put as good statistically of a defense as you want on the field, but the way the rules are set up now in the NFL, when a team's got 4 downs and a good quarterback to go win at the end of the game, you have to win matchups up front in order to be a championship caliber. Am I right that this is the guy you need to take a good defense and make it great?
There's no question you got to have a closer. And, yeah, you hit the nail on the head. And you're right, probably since Suggsy left, they've been missing that element to the defense. And believe me, I experienced Suggsy too much because every time he'd come over before the game, he says, "Coach, you should have drafted me in '03."
I love that he's that petty.
Time.
I love that he was that petty. I love that. Wait a second. Now I need to know.
And I was at his pro day.
Who did you draft in '03 though, Marvin? I don't remember. Who did you draft?
We took Carson Palmer.
I mean, that worked out all right. I mean, that
it worked pretty
good. That okay.
But then when Carson left, he's like, "Coach, I'd have never left you."
I love that.
He added to it.
I love that.
He added to it.
Oh.
But I remember standing there with Rex Ryan, and Rex, he got a little excited when watching Sudsy work out.
I mean, he was a freak, man. He was a freak. And I don't think we even knew that. If you had known in '03 what kind of run stopper Terrell Suggs, and God, pass defender, right? Like, did you know that?
How smart he was.
Right.
I would go in with the offensive coaches. We'd be game planning, and I'd say, "Okay, we're going to do this, this, this." I said, "No, not to that side."
Yeah, right. Stay the hell away.
He would do it on the opposite side.
Stay the hell away.
You can't do that over there.
God, that's a great
because he's so smart, and like if he saw a play and he knew the next play coming off of it, and you had to be careful messing with him, because he intercepted screen passes and flares and things like that, because you try to take advantage of his aggressiveness, but then all of a sudden, he would smell it and he would make a play on it. So, but and Maxx is a little bit that way. Unfortunately, Maxx may do too much of it, because he is so smart, and that's the problem with smart players. Is they figure it out, but, they also got to play within the scheme. But Maxx is very much the same way, where he studies so much. I sat by him. He sat across the aisle from me in the defensive install meetings, and I watched him take the notes. I was in the D-line meetings, and, I watched how he took notes and asked questions and then went out on the practice field. He's first one out on the field every day. And I mean, he's pretty incredible. I told people you could set your watch by him. I would go in and wake up, go get my walk in every morning at 5:15 till 6 or so, and I walk in the dining room, and there's Maxx. Wow. They got his tablecloth laid out for his breakfast, and his breakfast coming every morning at 6 a.m. If he was easy. If you ever wanted to assassinate him, where he's going to be. From 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. almost every day.
We're not telling anybody
even on
that.
Tuesdays, his day off.
This place is a crazy place anymore, Marvin. We're not telling anybody that.
But I mean, no, you just set your watch by him.
That's incredible. That is really incredible, and obviously we can't wait to have that here in Baltimore. Marvin Lewis, always a thrill, man. Appreciate you. Thanks for hopping on. Let's talk again real soon. All right.
All right. You're welcome, guys. Have a great day.
The great Marvin Lewis with us here on GCR. I had never heard him tell that story about Terrell Suggs either. How great is that? Every time. Terrell, get back in his face. And Carson Palmer was a pretty freaking good player, obviously.
Yeah, but Suggs would have never left. He would have never left.
That's a great point. Well, technically he did ultimately leave Baltimore. So,
yeah, but it was almost 20 years later, I guess.
Tremendous. That was excellent. Thank you to Marvin for taking the time for us.
Assassinate him easily.
Right. You trying to give anybody an idea? I don't like that at all. Don't like that at all. We live in some crazy times. But I understand what he's saying. I completely understand what he's saying. Hey, you know what? I screwed up yesterday. This is my fault because I didn't check countysports.zone. And I said that championship weekend was coming up in College Park, but they have moved the championships to UMBC. Now, how does that work?
When are the championships supposed to be
They're all weekend. But I guess because the UMBC game would be at 11 on Saturday. So I presume.
So they're playing at 11 or 1?
UMBC?
Yeah.
That if they host, it would be at 11 a.m. on Saturday.
Okay.
So presumably they can still play all the championship games this weekend. Go to countysports.zone. Get the whole rundown for championship week. It's countysports.zone. Proudly sponsored by your local Toyota dealer and buyatoyota.com. We'll talk some baseball next. Head down to Sarasota. Catch up with Trevor Rogers. That's on the way. It's Glenn Clark Radio.
March Mania is on at Live Casino. And you can get a front row seat for all the action at Sports and Social. Raise your game with massive wall-to-wall TVs. And raise a cheer with your favorite beers, cocktails, and an all-star menu. Best of all, you could win huge prizes every game. Don't get benched. Book your table at Live Casino. At Arundel Mills. Must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Your car is more than just a ride. It's an investment. At Leading Edge Auto Body in Mount Washington, we've spent over 20 years perfecting the art of repair. From high-end imports to your trusted daily driver, we handle all makes and models with elite precision. Our team holds the highest honors in the industry, including ASE Master, iCar Platinum, and specialized aluminum certifications. We make it easy with free towing, pickup, and delivery because at Leading Edge, customer satisfaction comes first. And remember, with insurance, it's your car and it's your choice. Choose the experts. Leading Edge Auto Body. Quality you can see. Service you can trust. Go to leadingedgeautobody.com today.
The weather's getting cooler, so when you and your family are picking out a place to dine, be it lunch or dinner, let's make it nice and easy. Now, with 2 great locations, the Costas Inn remains your #1 destination. Whether you want to get steamed crabs and the full Costas menu out at the original location at 4100 North Point Boulevard, or sample the complete menu minus the steamed crabs at the new location above the grandstand at the Timonium Racetrack, Costas is your place to go. Check out the website, costasin.com, for a look at the menu, and if you want to plan that crab feast, call 410-477-1975. The Costas Inn.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
You've been injured in a crash. Your medical bills are piling up, and the insurance company is giving you the runaround. You don't just need a lawyer, you need results. At Warnken Law, we represent the injured across Maryland. Whether it's a car accident, medical malpractice, or a serious injury, we fight for the maximum compensation you deserve. We've been voted the best personal injury law firm in Maryland for a reason. For us, 443 Results isn't just a phone number, it's our mission. Get the advocate you need. Call Warnken today at 443-RESULTS or visit warnkenlaw.com. That's 443-RESULTS. Call now.
Make the most out of every day in your Toyota RAV4. Available in hybrid or gas-only models. A RAV4 can get you where you want to go in style. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new RAV4s from your local Toyota dealer today.
Coming back in here with Glenn and the other guy, Garrett, whatever his name is. You know who they are.
All right, back in here on GCR. Our condolences to Griffin and all Towson fans because...
Yeah, but we knew that was going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the most cursed. I don't know how to explain. Like, there's curses and then there's that. Like, Danhausen thinks that's curse. I mean, that's sick. That's perverted. Like, that's inhuman, frankly. It was a hell of a game. Hell of a game. Incredible battle. Neither team had more than a 6-point lead the entire time. And given how they had played against Hofstra in the other 2 games, I did start to get that feeling of like, maybe they're going to figure it out this time. Like, Tyler Tejada and Dillian Williamson are not going to let them lose. Can't blame them. And what's his the cruise missile fouls out. Yeah. Like, it's all right there for you. The only criticism the entire game is at one point after Tyler Tejada hit the 3 in overtime, then he just like went down and chucked one on the next possession, and then Hofstra went back down and got a 3 the other way. You're like, that's a 6-point swing. Like,
yeah.
But this is a joke. Like, this is a joke.
That freaking I don't know where Speedy Claxton finds these kids. Every year
But that's not a good shot.
No, it's not. Well, he made a shot earlier though.
Yeah, I agree with that, but not this one. This one's just like, you can argue that the BU thing from Sunday is more of a skill shot than this is. This is just toss it up. It's going nowhere. Just throw the ball in the direction of the basket and see what happens, and it banks in. I mean, it's heinous, man. That is heinous. I don't know, man. It's just cursed as hell. Cursed
every
as hell.
year. Every year, Pete Gillen ends my season.
It's true. It's a good point. You get to the semifinals. There's Pete Gillen waiting for you.
Waiting to
Sports
massacre
Network.
the Towson Tigers.
Sorry, buddy. I mean, I really am too. Like, I don't know.
I was getting. I mean, like, because this obviously this team was not nearly as good as the last three teams.
Not at all.
But seeing them win 2 games in a row,
and the way they were playing last night, and that like literally the way they were playing last night made you say like, my God, there really is something happening here.
Yeah, like Tyler just can't. I mean, he's just gonna. I hated the last possession of regulation. Like just
I hated
a 20-footer
that
was gonna.
Yeah.
That was your shot. Like
Yeah.
Tyler's drawing a foul every time he gets into the paint.
Go to
like,
basket.
Just
I agree.
Get there.
I agree.
Alas.
UMBC, our nation turns its lonely eyes to you. Tonight, they host in the semifinals against Lowell. If they win that one, they would host the title game on Saturday. And Morgan is still alive as well. They play tomorrow night in the MEAC. Maryland technically is still alive, too.
That they got to win 6 games in 6 days. They got to do the Georgia Southern thing. And
that's right. That's right. That was wild. But that was crazy, too, because didn't Georgia Southern have the same record as Wasn't it a bit where they were like...
so yes, but Georgia Southern was like right outside that because there was like 8 teams tied for second. In the Sun
and
Belt.
so like one of them got the
9
15
seed.
double bye,
and
the other one had to play the entire
One of them
time.
had a bye to the semis, and another one had to play
crazy,
5 days,
Crazy.
5 days in a row.
All right, we had to do this a little bit earlier on, as you'll be able to tell from the video, but Trevor Rogers wanted to spend some time with us, and I assure you I'm going to say yes to that every time. Right here on GCR.
Well, it's a pleasure now to be joined live from Sarasota by a man who, of course, put together one of the best stretches of pitching that we've seen in Orioles history last season. He is Trevor Rogers, and he's back with us now here on GCR. Trevor, it's Glenn. It's great to see you. Looks like it's gorgeous today in Sarasota. Thank you for taking the time for us.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime.
Hey, man, so I have to get to the bottom of the most important question yet. Last year, you showed us the pants. It was one of my favorite conversations of the year.
Yeah.
Was that a 2025 thing, or did it go so well that that's going to have to continue in 2026?
Yeah, it's something I've talked to my wife about, and we're still kind of on the fence if she wants to wear them again this year. I think it might have been a 2025 thing, but that's to be determined for sure.
Wait, now, is it one where like maybe you test it out, you test the waters, like one rough start, you say, all right, we got to go right back to the pants. I
think it's going to be kind of a fill out process for sure.
I appreciate that. Hey, Trevor, we speak about like superstitions, but I just mean from a practical sense. When you have a season like you had a year ago, what does the off season then look like to follow it up? Do you want to do things differently? Do you want to I don't want to mess with anything? Like what is the practical end of having such an outstanding stretch of pitching?
Yeah, it's more of don't fix what isn't broken, but fix the things that need fixing. There's always room for improvement, ways to get better. And we kind of talked about that in New York at the end of the season last year. So we kind of addressed those small little details. It was nothing crazy, tighten up a couple of the breaking balls, clean up some mechanical stuff, and then just continue to get stronger in the lower half. And I think I've accomplished all 3 of those things.
Trevor, what would it mean? I know there's been a lot of talk and some of your teammates have been campaigning for it, but what would it mean to you to be the opening day starter for this team?
Man, it's always been kind of a bucket list thing for me. I've always wanted to do it at least once. It'd be kind of a full circle moment just from when I got traded over here and it not going exactly the way any of us wanted it to. And just through a lot of hard work and, the weight training staff and the training department, pitching department, all just coming together and helping me getting back to where I need to be. And, getting the call last year to go back up to the big leagues and then performing the way that I did. It's just kind of a full circle moment. And if I'm lucky enough to to get the nod, man, I'd be excited and I'd give it my all to try to win that first game. But, if not, then, we got 161 more games after that. So I'd be fired up either way.
Yeah, right. Like the Saturday start would be okay, I guess.
Yeah, 100%.
It's still probably better than starting in Norfolk. So
Yeah.
context is good. Trevor Rogers is with us here on GCR live from down in Sarasota. Trevor, I think one of maybe the best moments so far of spring training you were involved with, obviously, when Pete came over. And I know I say best moments, you'd probably say, hey, I don't know if that was my best day. But can you walk me through that moment and Pete's arrival and how he's taken upon himself sort of this role to be this kind of calming presence or this guy and what you thought of it in the moment and what you think it says about him and what he's going to do for this team?
Yeah, it was huge. I think Albie has set the standard right out of the gate. If we want to get back to where we need to get to, we got to treat every day like it's day one. I think it's easy to, be ready to go, fired up for, baseball's back the first week of games. And, now that we're kind of in the dog days of spring right now, with the time change, guys are getting sluggish. That's kind of where it comes down to like, hey, these are the days that kind of matter to get us where we need to be. And that was the kind of the meeting he had when I was on the mound. Our intensity wasn't there. And he kind of just hit it home. Our intensity is not there. We need to pick it up. So just having a veteran presence like that with a lot of younger guys, I wouldn't say they're super young anymore, but youngish guys that still have a couple years under their belt and can look to a leader like Pete that has had a lot of success in the big leagues and is going to be with us for a while. I think it's huge for this team.
That's really cool, man. That's a really cool thing that I think a lot of us were like, wow, that really says to your point, right? Like I think it would be easy for a lot of guys to say, dude, it's spring, right? Like none of this matters,
Right.
To have that intensity. Have you sensed that that's permeated through your group that like that has been felt by everyone? Like we're not going to allow ourselves to fall into this sort of lull just because it's the spring.
Yeah, 100%. There's always chatter in the dugouts, like a good energy, always in the dugout rooting our teammates on. And I think stuff like that matters, especially going into, the season. If we have good energy, during the dog days of spring, the back end of spring, and then we get to games that actually matter and, getting fired up for opening day in the next, 6 months of baseball, I think it carries a lot of weight for sure.
What's the competition been like among the starters? I mean, to the point, I think we know you're pretty safe, but like this is the situation to be in where we know there's six. I mean, before obviously Craig said that Tyler was committed to be in the bullpen, seven qualified major league starters, and that's not even counting Suarez and some of the younger guys. What has that done? Like everybody pushing and knowing that like nothing's given. You kind of have to earn it right now.
Yeah, it's everything that this team and this starting staff wants. I try not to look at it that way. I always look at it from like I got to win a spot because I think you start thinking like, oh, I already got a spot. That's when you start getting complacent. And complacency in baseball is deadly. So that's always been my outlook to try to compete in a smart way. You don't want to blow the gates out in March. But, the starting staff that we're going to have is probably the most underrated, least talked about starting rotation in all of baseball. Probably the best command staff in all of baseball. Like the stuff that we have, even if we do go to a 5 or 6 man, I have no idea what the front office is going to do, but it's going to be really fun. We're all competitive. We all root for each other, but we also are very competitive and we want to go show out. So we're a very tight knit group, and it's going to be really fun, to compete with a full season with these guys.
Now, I know you mentioned the possibility of it being 6 man. A lot has been made of innings, and the discussion would be that Kyle has only thrown so many innings in recent years, but I know your career high was 124 at the big league level, right? Like how do you go from and I know we say 14 starts, but it was 14 starts at the major league level. You had also pitched clearly in the minors a year ago. Like,
Yeah.
has that been something that you put focus on? Is there a way to be prepared? Because obviously you guys are hoping to be pitching well into October next year. Like,
Hmm.
is there something that you can do to be thinking about adding innings, or is that something that just sort of has to come as the year goes on?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both. It's something that I've always wanted to do, but just the way my career went early on, it just didn't quite go that way. And I think it was kind of a blessing in disguise. It kind of taught me how to take care of my body and listen to my body a lot better. And Bassett's been huge this spring. It's like I don't want to see someone throwing upper 90s in February and you be on the shelf in June or July or be burnt out in September, October. So that was really insightful to hear from him. And as far as like the innings go, I don't really try to control that. I can't really control that. It's more of just trying to keep my routine consistent and really just listen to my body. If my body's sore, we need to, lighten the workload, then I communicate that with the training staff and the weight staff. So that's definitely on the bucket list this year is to try to throw a lot more innings, but try to take it one day at a time, and we'll see how it goes.
Let me ask it this way, because I know if I bring up the topic of an extension, you're going to say, yeah, that's that the team's going to have to figure that out, and I completely understand. I think there are people that have the mentality of, hey, once I'm into the season, I just want to focus on that. I kind of want to not be thinking about, contract things along those lines. Are you that type of person, or is that something that, like, hey, if it came up in June, we can talk about it in June. I'm happy to, try to get something done whenever it's time to get it done.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the middle of the road. If it ever did come up, I would more of just have them talk to my agents, and if it's anything significant, then my agents could reach out to me. Um, but yeah, I'm kind of middle of the road. I try to keep locked in on baseball, and if it comes up, then it comes up.
I mean, we're hoping that it comes up. I can say that from back here in Baltimore. We're hoping that it's a topic that comes up.
Yep.
What is your like mentality going into this year, Trevor? Like I know from the outside, everybody's talking about can Trevor Rogers follow it up? But what is your like? How do you handle all of that? Compartmentalize it, and like what are the biggest like goals for Trevor Rogers in 2026?
It's interesting you say that. I've talked to my mental skills guy repeatedly over the spring. We talk every week, and I don't really have a desire to follow anything up. The only thing I have a desire to do is be consistent like I was last year. And, it was great. I had a good year, but I was still sitting on my couch in early October. So it's like, what good did that do, And I try to put this in a positive way, but it's really hard to have, a sub 2 ERA through 30 starts. And not saying it can't be done, but it's really hard. But I'm not really trying to focus on that aspect of it. I'm just trying to really be consistent. And every time I take the ball, every fifth or sixth day, I give my team an opportunity to win, and they know that what they're going to get every time I'm out there.
I appreciate that. All right, so give me an idea, like off days when you have a moment during the spring, what do you allow yourself to get into? Are you just complete when you talk about mental performance, like are you zoned in on watching stuff, or is it important for you to have something, golf, hobby, whatever it is, when you're not pitching or when it's not your day?
Yeah, I'm a big golf guy. I love golf. Well, the wife and I actually went out yesterday and played. It's always nice to get out there and just get away from everything. And I like Legos too. A big Lego guy, but it's kind of hard to build Legos during the season because they're not very travel friendly. They start to break apart. So that's definitely more of an off season hobby for me. So yeah, I kind of just keep to those two things really.
You got something that you built this year? I mean, like I know that Legos. This is a very popular throughout the clubhouse thing. It feels like everybody on your team is into building Legos. What's something that you did this offseason that was particularly cool?
I did. They came out with a Mario Kart where he's actually riding his go-kart. So I built that, and then I built one of those little piranha plants off of Mario. So it was very Mario themed this offseason.
I have an 11-year-old, and I might have to look into that Mario Kart one for him. Yeah. Trevor Rogers, it's so great to catch up with you, man. We can't wait to see you up here in Baltimore here in just a couple of weeks and hopefully on opening day. Best of luck as you guys get into the season. Thank you so much for taking the time for us. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime. I appreciate it.
Tremendous stuff with Trevor Rogers. Really appreciate him taking the time for us this morning from down there in Sarasota. And we will see. I assume it's a 2-horse race between he and Kyle Bradish to be the opening day starter, but Kyle Bradish, I know, has said, hey, I think that's Trevor Rogers. I think he earned that based on what he did last season, so we will see what the Orioles end up doing about who the opening day starter is. We'll come back in, and we'll talk a little bit about what the Ravens gave up by trading away the 14th overall pick and what they could still do later on during the course of the draft. Chad Reuter joins us from NFL Network and NFL.com next on Glenn Clark Radio. Your car is more than just a ride. It's an investment. At Leading Edge Auto Body in Mount Washington, we've spent over 20 years perfecting the art of repair. From high-end imports to your trusted daily driver, we handle all makes and models with elite precision. Our team holds the highest honors in the industry, including ASE Master, iCar Platinum, and specialized aluminum certifications. We make it easy with free towing, pickup, and delivery because at Leading Edge, customer satisfaction comes first. And remember, with insurance, it's your car and it's your choice. Choose the experts. Leading Edge Auto Body. Quality you can see. Service you can trust. Go to leadingedgeautobody.com today.
The weather's getting cooler, so when you and your family are picking out a place to dine, be it lunch or dinner, let's make it nice and easy. Now, with 2 great locations, the Costas Inn remains your #1 destination. Whether you want to get steamed crabs and the full Costas menu out at the original location at 4100 North Point Boulevard, or sample the complete menu minus the steamed crabs at the new location above the grandstand at the Timonium Racetrack, Costas is your place to go. Check out the website, CostasInn.com, for a look at the menu, and if you want to plan that crab feast, call 410-477-1975. The Costas Inn.
You've been injured in a crash. Your medical bills are piling up, and the insurance company is giving you the runaround. You don't just need a lawyer, you need results. At Warnken Law, we represent the injured across Maryland. Whether it's a car accident, medical malpractice, or a serious injury, we fight for the maximum compensation you deserve. We've been voted the best personal injury law firm in Maryland for a reason. For us, 443 Results isn't just a phone number, it's our mission. Get the advocate you need. Call Warnken today at 443 Results or visit warnkenlaw.com. That's 443 Results. Call now.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
The latest edition of Pressbox is available now. On the cover, Dave Ginsburg chats with Hall of Famer Cal Ripken Jr. about his life now at the age of 65, his role with the Orioles ownership group, and much more. Also inside, Bill Ordine helps us learn more about new Ravens head coach Jesse Minter, Luke Jackson finds out about new Orioles slugger Pete Alonso from those who have played with him, and we meet college lacrosse players from programs all across the area. Pressbox is available for free at over 250 locations throughout the region, including your Baltimore area High's dairy stores. Plus, you can read the entire issue online at PressBoxOnline.com, where you can also find great betting advice and the best daily coverage of the Orioles, Ravens, and Terps.
March Mania is on at Live Casino. And you can get a front row seat for all the action at Sports and Social. Raise your game with massive wall-to-wall TVs, And raise a cheer with your favorite beers, cocktails, and an all-star menu. Best of all, you could win huge prizes every game. Don't get benched. Book your table at Live Casino. At Arundel Mills. Must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Contrary to what some people believe, I actually like this guy when he sleeps. Glenn Clark, talking sports.
Back in here on GCRs, continue along on a Tuesday edition of the program. Good morning, John in Little Rock. Yeah, sure. Just see who the next Iowa center is. Absolutely. They seem to be pretty good at that. There's no doubt. I know what you're saying. You're not in favor of paying a center over $20 million a year. Well, no one had done it until yesterday, so that makes sense. Where contracts are going, I don't know. Maybe we'll look back and say, I keep coming back to what the fifth-year option was. And is there a world where the Ravens say, hey, we're not giving you that as a contract, but for 1 year, when we are otherwise going in, and I get it, a year ago, I'm not sure that they knew that's what they were going to be doing. But if there was any world where they were going to primarily focus on one season, maybe there was a world where you look back and you say, maybe not a long-term deal at $23 million per, obviously $27 million per, which is just for 3 years. But for 1 year, we could have paid that. I don't know. I don't know. And again, it's easy to say the context is you're otherwise going all in for this year in the trade that you made, giving up 2 first-round picks for Maxx Crosby, firing John Harbaugh. But as we discussed with Kadri yesterday, the decision they would have had to have made about the fifth-year option would have had to have been made last year. And so at this time last year, did they know that they were going to be going, quote-unquote, all in for 2026, or did they believe we're going to go win a Super Bowl in 2025 because we all thought they had the best roster? Oh, silly us. So I think I'm oversimplifying it when I say, hey, maybe in hindsight you could have done that. But in the moment, we all understood. We all understood the issue of even paying someone that number at 1 year that was so much above market value. It's just that market value has been completely ripped up. There is no such thing as market value any longer. That no longer exists because of what the Raiders did yesterday. So, yeah, that's where I'm at. Continue to see how things unfold and if there are further moves coming today for the Baltimore Ravens. Again, nothing that would cancel out that third-round pick they're going to get for Tyler Linderbaum. But you presume they still have some work to do. You presume that there are still moves that they want to make. It's been a slower day, as obviously so much went off the board yesterday. Oh, and yes, Chris, thank you. We did not point out, and we were talking about what the Ravens have done, that they also did bring back Tyler Huntley. That is a thing. That is a thing that happened. So we acknowledge that. All right. What we do know the Ravens have done is they have shipped 2 first-round picks to Las Vegas in exchange for Maxx Crosby, which is a bummer for us because, we love draft coverage and the air comes a little bit out of the sails when you no longer have a first-round pick. But I want to get some context about that, and this might be we might be bringing this man on every week moving forward because he dives deeper into the draft than a lot of folks do that cover it. He is Chad Reuter from NFL.com, NFL Network. He is with us now here on GCR. Chad, it's Glenn in Baltimore. It's always great to catch up with you, man. Thank you for taking the time for us this morning.
Yeah, you bet. Thanks for having me on again.
Chad, the cost of trading the 14th overall pick. It's one thing to trade 2 first-round picks. When you're the Ravens and you don't draft this high, it's almost like it feels like there's an additional cost of trading this pick. I frame that, though, by saying your mock draft that you had put out where you had Carnell Tate falling to the Ravens. If that's the case, I might be apoplectic. I might be suicidal about it. But a lot of people believe the strength of the draft in the teens or in that range might really have proved to be like guard. What are the Ravens giving up by giving up the 14th overall pick in this draft?
Yeah, I mean, if you're ever going to do it, this is the year to do it, because you would have been looking at a very good guard, maybe, in Ioane from Penn State. But the fact is that this team, the needs that it has to get through the draft is depth at several positions where day two value is actually better than mid-first day value in a lot of ways. So I think they expect to be picking a lot lower next year. Mm-hmm. So this year, giving a 14th, next year, they would hope that they'd be in the mid-20s at least. And I get it for a guy like Maxx Crosby, who's on the field all the time and is an excellent player. So I get where they were coming from in this particular circumstance. And I also expect that for the first time in a few years, they'll be looking to move down in the second or third round to try to grab, maybe a future pick or maybe another third or fourth rounder this year to take advantage of the depth at certain positions.
Okay, so that might play into the next question that I was going to ask, which is, we've talked a lot in recent years about the Ravens picking in the 20s, and a lot of times we frame the questioning along the lines of, is there a significant difference between, the 21st or the 24th best player and the 40th or so best player? And I was trying to sort of frame something similar here. Like, where is that cutoff in this draft? And is there an argument that, like, holding the 45th pick, which is what currently the Ravens hold, is not all that different than holding, like, the 28th pick in another year?
Yeah, that's correct. And actually this year, you might be able to go as high as 13. There is not a huge difference between the 13th pick and the 45th pick.
Wow.
That's just the way this draft is. And so they'll find somebody potentially at 45. But again, I think in some ways, depending on who's left on the board. Now, if one of their top 20, 25 prospects is on the board at 45, they're not going to probably move down. They'll just take them and move on. But even if they can convince somebody, Detroit a few picks later is always interested in moving up. Carolina might be desperate to move up for a certain player. I mean, there's teams that'll move in that second round and maybe even move back a few more spots and still get a guy like Logan Jones from Iowa to play center, or one of the corners that are, available. Julian Neal from Arkansas, big corner, for example, if they want to look that direction. So there's going to be some guys available in that 45 to 50 range that, are pretty solid players.
We're chatting with Chad Reuter, NFL.com, talking about the NFL draft. He's with us here on GCR. Chad, I wonder what the strength of the second round is. You bring up the corners, and that's definitely an area, we saw how Marlon Humphrey looked. I think a lot of us wondered if Marlon Humphrey was even going to be on this team moving forward. At the moment, it looks like that's going to be the case, but I guess that's still possible. It could change. They have invested a lot at corner in recent years, but I do still think that's a need. But what are the other strengths of the second round of this year's draft?
I think they could, again, if they want another center from Iowa to step in, Logan Jones would be a pick there. But otherwise, Igbinosun, the Ohio State corner, would be a good pick. Neal would be a good pick at corner. That's a tough spot. You might be able to find a receiver. Devon Stribling from Ole Miss isn't being talked a lot about as a late first, early second round pick, but I think he's going to be in that conversation. And if they want another big man outside, I think that's definitely in the cards for them as well.
No, I definitely still have prototype wide receiver fairly high on my list, Chad. Like I still think that's something that they need to address. There's a player. It's interesting, right? Because we still don't know the story on Nnamdi Madubuike for the Ravens moving forward. And I like reading the tea leaves. He's posted some cryptic messages and videos of him working out, and it's leading to us thinking that maybe Nnamdi Madubuike is going to continue to attempt to play. But I feel like defensive tackle was something that we have been talking about an awful lot.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I know you have both Peter Woods and Caleb Banks going in the second round in the most recent mock draft that you had put out. And, like, Caleb Banks was somebody that I was kind of, like, interested in the first round. And you have him going 2 picks after the Ravens in the second round at 47. To walk me through, I guess, one, why aren't those guys maybe higher? And 2, is there a real, like, defensive tackle value there to be had for the Ravens a little bit later?
So that mock draft was a few weeks ago.
Okay.
And when I saw Caleb Banks, because Caleb Banks had the injury issue this year, and so I wasn't sure before the combine how he looked. If he looked good at times at the Senior Bowl. I wouldn't say dominating, but I wanted to see him in person at the combine, and I think his movement skills are going to convince somebody to take him in the first round. Even though he wasn't as good this year because of the injury, I just think he's one of these guys that's 6'6", 330 and runs. And I just think he's just going to get picked early. But I think, like, originally I thought Lee Hunter from Texas Tech might be that guy in the middle of the first round. And based on his workout, other things I've heard, he may be available for them at 45, which would be a fantastic pick if he's available at that point. Peter Woods wasn't as productive this year. He does some things really well, but he's not very big. And I think he wasn't the dominating player. Pretty good run defender, didn't get after the quarterback maybe as much this year. So he may be subject to falling down the board a bit. But I think you could find a couple of guys. But I think, the Ravens have done a good job finding guys more in the 3rd, 4th round at defensive tackle. And I think there's good enough depth that they could either pick another sort of undersized guy to play, like a 5 technique, like a Rashad Benny from Michigan, for example. Grayson Halton from Oklahoma is another guy that isn't very big, but boy, is he active. And you get him in your defense. And if you're looking more at the nose, Tim Keenan from Alabama in the 3rd or 4th round, David Gustav from Kentucky, 4th round. I mean, I think there's some good value depending on the type of player you want a little bit later in the draft.
You mentioned Logan Jones, and I want to talk about center a little bit, obviously, because at the moment, the Ravens, could default to like a Corey Bullock, but they don't really have one with Tyler Linderbaum gone.
Yeah.
Is Logan Jones a day one starter? Are there other centers on night 2 in general that you would say you'd be comfortable with you draft this guy on night 2, you'd be comfortable with him being a day 1 starter come the fall?
Yeah, actually, this is a pretty good centers draft. So Jones in round 2, I would start. Connor Liu out of Auburn, if the medical reports are good on him and he's healthy to go, he's a starter, immediate starter in round 3. Brian Parker from Duke is going to switch from tackle to center. He's going to be a starter day 1, most likely. Sam Hecht from Kansas State's another guy who can go in the 3rd, 4th round, but I really like starting center. Jake Slaughter from Florida. There's a bunch of guys. Pat Coogan from Indiana, not the greatest athlete, but he's a really good player, and he's probably going to start for somebody. So it's pretty deep for centers, and you should be able to find one in the middle of the draft somewhere.
I like the sounds of that. And then the other area where there's like an obvious need, they're down to 1 tight end on the roster, and as you know, Chad, the Ravens, they'd like to have like 7, ideally, if possible. Are there, this is the Isaiah Likely spot, right? Like, who is that guy that maybe is that sort of athletic, could perhaps be out wide a little bit, tight end, that might be in this conversation again on night 2 or later?
Yeah, again, this is a spot where you can hit this spot in the 3rd, 4th, or 5th round this year and find some guys. Sam Rush from Stanford is a bigger guy, not like Likely, but he's a 2-way tight end that would be very valuable. And Mark Andrews is re-signed, but you don't really know how much longer he's going to play. So you don't necessarily want to pigeonhole somebody in a Likely, in the Isaiah Likely type body shape. I think there's a lot of action. Justin Jolly from North Carolina State, a little smaller, a little bit more in the likely category, 4th or 5th round. Dallin Bentley from Utah is a really good 4th or 5th round receiving tight end, can give you a little blocking. Tanner Koziel from Houston is really like a likely 6'5", 6'6", 240 pounds receiving tight end. He's in the 4th, 5th round conversation as well. So this is a good year if you're looking for those mid-round receiving options for the Ravens. And then, they have, what do they have? Four 5th round picks.
Right. Because
so they're going to make some hay with those picks this year at safety, at tight end, at, you'll probably get another edge for depth at some point on day 3. All these positions where they could use contributors as rookies, you're going to be able to find some value.
What about the big one now? I need to know how much work have you done on this year's punter class, Chad?
Well, so I was pretty much the only media guy at the kicker punter workout at the combine that they have on Wednesday before they get into this. There are some interesting guys. So Wes Paul from Oklahoma State. No, it's not Elmer Fudd talking about legendary guitarist. He is Wes Paul, and he's a big guy that with a big leg, and his hang time isn't quite there yet, but in terms of just pure leg, he's pretty big. So if they're looking 7th round, something like that. Brett Thorson from Georgia is more of the directional, stop the ball dead near the goal line kind of punter. They could find him in round 5 or 6. Ryan Eckley from Michigan State's got a really nice leg. They could get him in 5 or 6. Tommy Doman from Florida is another guy. So there's a few options either during or after the draft this year if they want to focus on finding another guy.
You know what? I'm just wanting Wes Paul because I like that joke. I like that enough that I'm sticking with that moving forward. Chad, I'll finish with this because I brought up, Carnell Tate, and I would be apoplectic if Carnell Tate was sitting there at 14. Is there anyone else that you would say, hey, there is some chance that this guy is sitting there at 14, and if you had known that like ahead of time, there's just no way that you could have traded the 14th round pick, even if you're getting Maxx Crosby in exchange?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
I would have made that move for Crosby 100 times out of 100 in this draft class. Now, will there be guys that'll turn out to be good? Of course there will.
Right.
I think, but in terms of getting a guy, and the thing with Maxx Crosby is, unlike, say, I'm from Wisconsin, my Packers went and made a similar deal for Micah Parsons, who is a fantastic player. But unlike Micah Parsons, Maxx Crosby plays all the time, and he's healthy almost all the time, and he's a dependable run stopper. So when you can get a guy like that for a team that is not far away from competing for a Super Bowl, I think I totally understand where they're coming from in terms of giving up those picks. And in this particular draft, I would have made that move almost every single time.
I appreciate that. That makes us feel better. Chad, what can we plug for you? When's the next mock hitting?
So it should be, the 10th? So next Friday, the whatever day that is, the 19th or 20th, whatever that is. The 20th. There'll be a 4-round mock out at that point. Thankfully, they let me see what's happening in free agency before we put out the next one.
Good.
And so that's a 4th. A couple weeks after that, there'll be a 5-round, and then the Friday before the draft, there'll be a 7-round.
I love that.
So that's what's going to be taking over my life. It's mock March.
That's the one. That's the one where we get to see Wes Paul in a Ravens uniform when we get finally.
Yeah, could be
7-round mock draft. Chad Reuter,
could be.
I really appreciate taking the time for us. We will definitely be in touch with you more frequently because obviously we need folks that know more of the draft in the coming weeks, and we got to do more homework on deeper into the draft. Really appreciate you doing this morning. Let's talk again real soon. All right.
Yeah, sounds great, Con. Thanks.
Chad Reuter with us here on GCR. Appreciate him doing that. And that, I think that feels that's a reassurance right? That he's telling you this draft. There's no one that he thinks could fall to 14 that you would feel regrettable about in making the Maxx Crosby trade. Now, again,
Ruben Baines at 14. I don't know how I'm gonna feel because I just like Ruben Baines.
I like
but
Ruben
Maxx
Baines
Crosby's obviously very good.
Maxx Crosby's
so
definitely Maxx Crosby's.
You
Max
just have to keep
it's
looking.
very much the Family Guy thing, like the magic box, right?
Yeah.
Like you could have a boat or you could have a magic box. Well, that magic box would be anything. It could even be a boat. You got Maxx Crosby. I'm telling you, the Carnell Tate one would break my brain. Like, it would really break my brain if Carnell Tate goes to the Raiders at 14. Like, that would be a tough thing.
I guess they
for
would
me.
take him. Yeah, I mean, if he's
How could
there.
they possibly not?
Well, because
they're
like, we want a guard. I don't know.
Oh, sure.
You're going to take a Yoni.
I'm so sure.
Or Wani, whatever.
Yeah. You're just about to draft a quarterback, and you're like, we're Carnell Tate. Nah, we're all right there. I'm trying to think who the Raiders' top receivers are because they traded away Jacoby Myers last year.
Well, Brock Bowers and
right. Yeah, who are their wide receivers? Is it Jack Betch and Dante Thornton? Is that their top wide receivers at this point?
Fast.
I like both of those guys. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, if it's somehow Carnell Tate, that would be a tough moment for your pal. That would be a very difficult thing for me to deal with. All right, I think we can go ahead and get a tidbit. Tidbit is brought to you today by the Stan the Fan Variety Hour. Hope you've been checking out all of Stan's coverage from down in Sarasota at spring training. It's all been brought to you by Warnken Law, and of course, Stan will get back to doing weekly shows live on Facebook, facebook.com/PressBoxSports, which will be brought to you by the Costas Inn, with two great locations, the OG in Dundalk, the new location in Timonium at the Grandstand.
Our tidbit today will
By the way,
come from
sports questions last night at trivia, ball busters.
Oh, you didn't get them.
I didn't say that. Did I say that?
You said they're
I just said
you're
they
setting
were ball
it up. You're setting it up
busters.
to
No,
you're already making excuses. Is what it sounds like.
You put words in my mouth.
So you got
as
them
you know,
right.
I'm exceptional at sports trivia. I don't know how you're gonna do with it.
All right, what do we got? Or were you making? Or are we being facetious?
Question number 18. The category is football.
Okay, I think I know football.
I mean, which three football teams?
Oh God.
Were part of the original Football League in 1888.
Oh, jeez.
And part of the Premiership when it started in 1992.
The Premiership? The Premiership?
Yes, the Prem.
And that was an American Football League?
No.
Oh, the football. The soccer football.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They really...
Soccer.
They really effed me on that. They really...
So
I was very excited.
I got to go back to... 80, what year was it?
1888, the original Football League, and then part of the Premiership when it started in 1992.
Is the Premiership different than the Premier League?
You keep saying the Premiership. Premiership.
Is it different than the Premier League?
I believe it's the same league,
Okay.
yes.
All right, so let's go with, I'll go, got to get three teams here that were from that. I'll go Chelsea, Crystal Palace, and I feel like it should be like a team that's like not like probably been like relegated or something. I don't know. Manchester United.
You went 0 for 3.
Damn.
Now
Felt really good about one of those.
Now we went 0 for 3.
Did anyone in the bar get?
No one in the bar got one of these correct.
Wow. All right. Well,
no one in the bar got one.
So they still exist, right? Like
Yeah, they still exist.
Are they still current? Are they current?
I have no idea. Griffin, I do not pay attention to the Prem.
Yeah, but like, okay, so you don't know if.
No idea.
But like,
I mean,
you
I know.
would know,
I'm
like,
pretty
you've
sure.
Heard of them? Have you heard
at least
of them?
2 of these are definitely still in the Prem. The third one, I couldn't tell you if they're still in the Prem or not.
Nottingham Forest.
No.
Tottenham.
You're just guessing all the teams now, huh?
Liverpool.
Nope. We went with Liverpool, Chelsea, and Arsenal, I believe, were our 3.
Arsenal's a good one. Yeah.
We went for 3.
Let's go Hull City.
Not Hull City.
Wrexham.
They're not in this. They weren't in this. They're not in this.
Cardiff.
No.
Then Leeds.
Nope.
What do you think? Like you recognize? So you recognize the names? Gosh. Yeah, I don't know. I guess should I just give up, or do you want to keep going?
Yeah, I think it's time to give up. Aston Villa.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean they're a current Premier League team.
Blackburn Rovers.
Rovers.
And
Watford.
And Everton.
Okay.
Everton.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a bloodbath.
Good for those three.
That was a
programs.
bloodbath. This one I did get.
Wow.
El Prat Airport is located in which city on the Mediterranean Sea, which also held the 1992 Summer Olympics?
El Prat Airport on the Mediterranean Sea, 92 Summer Olympics. Somewhere in Greece. Let's go with Athens.
Yeah, Athens did not host the 1992 Olympics. Also, don't know why it would be called El Prat Airport. Like, why would it be El?
I don't know.
Like, that's something that normally you say in what language?
Something is it like Arabic, I guess. I don't know.
El?
Or Hebrew?
Like El Salto or
so you're
El
trying to say
Hombre
something
or something Spanish.
Okay.
Usually.
But Spain's not on the Mediterranean, is it?
Oh, boy.
What other
oh boy,
Spanish language? Spanish speaking country.
Oh boy.
Spain is on the Mediterranean?
Yes, very much so.
Really?
Oh yes.
All right, so Barcelona.
Yay! Look at you. Look at you. We got there eventually. Well done. We got that one easily. How would you have done on what are the names of Kim Kardashian's 4 children?
Oh, jeez.
Because sadly, we got 2. I'm very angry that we got 2.
Look at that. Spain's on the Mediterranean.
Yeah, it's crazy.
No,
how that
wait.
works.
Really? That's the part?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
that's Sicily. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a stupid question. North is one of them.
Yes, we got that one.
Is North the oldest?
You're
Saint,
we got as well.
North Saint. She's got 2 more.
Mm-hmm.
With who?
Asking the wrong guy. I think based on one of the names, actually based on the names, I think they're all with old Kanye.
With old Kanye.
Yeah.
Dang, I didn't know they had 4 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Cracker.
What is that?
Ritz, maybe.
Ritz. Okay. No.
Saltine.
No.
I feel like he should be named after a cracker.
Okay.
Like Goldfish, maybe.
No goldfish.
No Goldfish West.
Chicago.
Oh, I should have known that one. Darn. Did you guys get that one?
No, we did not.
I should have gotten Chicago.
The other one
Damn.
is
Wait. Los Angeles.
No. The other one is named Psalm.
Okay, I would never have gotten that one.
Yeah,
would never have gotten Chicago. I feel like I should have.
And then finally, when Chuck Taylors were first released, they were available in what color?
What year were they first released? We don't get this.
That wasn't the question. Hang on. Hang on. Let me put it in this.
At least to acknowledge that it definitely matters.
What? Okay, I'll read it this way. What color, aside from their black trim, were the original Converse All-Stars Chuck Taylor basketball shoes when they were first produced in 1917?
1917? Did people wear colors back then? I'll go white.
That we were between white and red.
The other one
we were
between was blue, so I was between white and blue. I'll go white.
We would all have been wrong. They were brown. They looked
Really?
like brown leather. That's
what those
what they
look like
were.
now.
That's what they were. Yeah, ball busting night. A really difficult.
So did you guys
night.
lose then?
No, we won. I mean, come on, dog. I don't know if you remember. We're the world champions.
World.
You don't remember? We won the World Series.
I know, but you faced every other.
We won the World Series.
It's like this is like the Premier League of
We
all.
won the World Series. I don't know how hard that is for you to grasp.
The World
and
Series.
I deserve a bit more credit. I've earned
You're globally
a bit
known
more
and-
credit than what you've given me for our performance. We didn't know who was in the Prem in 1992, but we did win the World Series.
Those Chuck Taylors are ugly.
Yeah,
Jeez.
they were. They should put a picture of them on the screen. They look terrible. All right. There you go. Now what? Tidbit.
I've got a long one too, I feel like.
Damn it.
But it's a good one.
I have a game to do today.
All right, you want to save it for tomorrow?
Whatever.
We can save it for tomorrow because it is a good one. I want
Right.
to quiz you on as much of them.
I have a
as
game to
many
do
of these
tomorrow
as
too.
we
That's
can.
I got a lot of games this week. Very busy week.
For the first time in the Ravens' 31-year history, they used a first-round pick to trade a player. Trade for a player.
Wait, say that again.
First time the Ravens
Yes,
have ever done.
we know that. Yeah. That's it.
Well, and then I was going to lead that into another one, but I don't.
Okay,
I
let's
don't
do
wanna
it.
save
What are we doing?
All right, players who have fetched at least 2 first-round picks. Maxx Crosby is the 15th.
I saw this recently. Micah Parsons.
Micah.
There
There's another one last year.
was another one last year. I don't remember this. There was another one last year.
Mid-season.
Was Khalil Mack multiple first-round picks?
Yes, but he was not last year.
I know
But
he
yes,
wasn't last
but
year.
yes, Khalil Mack is on the list.
Oh, Sauce Gardner.
Yes.
Right?
Sauce Gardner cost 2 firsts.
I was trying to think of, like, a quarterback that had
Yeah.
been dealt. I'm like...
Before Micah, the last one was a quarterback. The last 2 actually were quarterbacks.
Oh, and one of them was Russ, right?
One was Russ.
Stafford?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know, man. I don't know.
We had, before Stafford, there was an O-lineman. There's a safety. So you had an O-lineman and a safety. Then there was Khalil Mack. Then you had a DB.
O-lineman, a safety, a DB. O-lineman, a safety, and a DB. I don't know. O-lineman traded for 2 first-round picks. Holy S. Why am I... This is not... O-lineman traded for... Trent Williams wasn't...
No, not Trent Williams.
O-lineman traded for 2 first-round picks. This is not ringing a bell.
He went from Miami to Houston.
Oh, Laramie Tunsil. I didn't remember it was 2 first-round
Yeah.
picks, though. Damn.
This is courtesy
All
of
right.
Adam Schefter, by the way. He
Thank
shipped
you,
this
Adam
Friday night.
Schefter.
Then 2 more the next 2 were DBs.
Jalen Ramsey?
Yes, Jalen Ramsey.
Really?
Yes, Jalen Ramsey.
All right.
He fetched 2 first-round picks. The other one was he went from New York to Seattle.
Which New York?
The Jets.
Revis never went to Seattle. He's a DB.
Mm-hmm. He's a safety.
Who's this? Oh, Jamal Adams.
Jamal
Yeah,
Adams,
Jamal
yes.
Adams. Damn. Imagine giving up 2
Adams.
first-round picks for Jamal Adams.
Yeah. Then it was like so Ramsey and then
Okay.
another quarterback.
Another quarterback.
Yeah. We're going in reverse order here, but yes.
Christ.
Yeah.
Another quarterback.
He went from Denver was involved again.
Denver was involved again.
He went from Denver to somewhere else.
It wasn't Jay Cutler, was it?
It was in fact
Jay Cutler was traded for 2 first-round picks.
Yes, he
Holy
was.
crap.
Yes, he was.
Holy smokes. All right, how many more are there?
They got a couple running backs on
Jesus Christ.
5 more.
5 more?
Yeah.
How could there be 5
Try
more?
to get the 3 running backs. There's 3 running backs.
3 running backs that were traded for 2 first-round picks? Lord.
They were all
Curtis Martin?
No.
I was trying to think of, like, running backs that even played for multiple teams that... I don't... Marshall Faulk?
No, not Marshall Faulk.
It wasn't Jerome Bettis. Who else was... 2 first-round picks for a running back? Ricky Williams?
Ricky Williams. There
Was
you
that a
go.
draft? Was that the draft trade? I feel like that doesn't count.
Yeah.
I
But was
thi-
he also in once he got to his career? Was it?
Was he traded again for 2 first-round picks? That
Hold on, I'm trying to. Let me double check.
Because the draft trade, I remember, Mike Ditka gave up everything. Mike Ditka risked it all for Ricky Williams. But I don't remember him. You might be maybe he was again.
Then should we fight Adam Schefter then? It was the draft.
It was
I
the
think
draft
he's
trade.
considering the draft.
Yeah,
trade,
that doesn't count to me.
Yeah, I guess because then should we count like RG3 and?
Oh, is he on this list?
No, he's not.
Oh, yeah, right. Anybody.
So Schefter got a bad list.
Yeah, I don't like that. All right.
The first two ever in NFL history were also running back.
First two ever.
Back to 1990-ish. That's the first one.
That's still before Marcus Allen. 90. Back to 1990.
Deal was completed in 1989.
1989 running back trade. I mean, I don't remember. Thurman Thomas only played for the Bills, right? Yeah.
This running back went from Dallas to Minnesota.
Oh, that's a draft trade too. Herschel Walker.
Why does it say the deal was completed on October 1989?
Oh no, you're right.
Yeah.
That was
okay.
No, you're right. Yeah. I'm thinking of. I was thinking of. No, you're right.
Because there wasn't. He was traded for.
Yes,
or like someone traded up or whatever.
The Cowboys traded a lot on the draft. You're right.
Yeah.
This is a different trade. Correct.
Yeah, separate trade there. And then there was and then the other runner, the second player to fetch 2 first-round picks, was also a running back.
When?
The 90s.
The 90s. I don't know, man. Marshawn Lynch.
No, it was the 80s.
That's not the 90s.
No, it was the 80s.
The 80s.
Yeah.
The
So
80s.
got it out of order.
Lord.
How does he got it out of order?
I don't know. Give me something.
He played for the Rams.
Oh, Dickerson?
Yeah, Eric Dickerson.
Yeah.
Eric Dickerson. Other 2 on the list: Keyshawn Johnson, Jeff George as well. Costing 2 first-round picks.
All right. Jesus. It's a hell of a list.
Yeah.
It's a hell of a list.
So did we do the right thing? Did the Ravens?
I mean,
Stafford worked out pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, there's a mix. There's definitely a mix there.
Packers were working out while Micah was healthy.
That's true. That's the risk. That is the problem. These guys can't get hurt. All right, very good. Here's what's coming up tubular-wise. Tubular is brought to you today by the print issue of Pressbox, which is available for free at your Baltimore area High's Dairy stores. Wherever you find Pressbox, you can read it all online at PressBoxOnline.com. Great cover story from Dave Ginsburg about Cal Ripken and his new role with the Orioles ownership group. Much more inside this print issue of Pressbox. All right, here's what's coming up tonight. As we mentioned earlier, UMBC takes on UMass Lowell, 6 o'clock, ESPN Plus for the semifinal in the America East tournament. You going over?
Yeah, I am going to go over.
Excellent. Enjoy.
Yeah,
Enjoy.
I mean, yes, I would like. I've been looking forward to it, but then when Towson was going on a run, I was like, oh, maybe I got to be somewhere else tonight.
Yeah, get it.
No, I'm not. So. But yeah, go UMBC.
Orioles on TV again this afternoon on Masson this time against the Astros. Levi Wells gets the start for the Birds against Lance McCullers. It's weird when they broadcast road games. Like, it's weird because it's normally your B squad going over for a road game. It's just odd. Maryland, West Virginia baseball, 2 o'clock on ESPN Plus. Navy lacrosse is at Jacksonville tonight at 7 o'clock on ESPN Plus, and the women host Jacksonville at 2 on ESPN Plus. NBC Sports Network and Peacock tonight, or late this afternoon, Oregon and Maryland in. Wow,
John and Little Rock going really off a limb here. Terps will win today.
Sure.
How much want to put down on that,
Sure.
John?
That's at 5 o'clock. Out in Chicago.
Weird
and World Baseball Classic, I guess this is pool play wrapping up tonight on FS1 as Italy takes on the USA at 8.
Terps are 4.5-point underdogs.
Sure. Everything else, fine at glance. I have no thoughts. What possible thought do you want me to have to share? They're a 17 seed. I didn't even know you could have a 17 seed.
Last year you couldn't.
How in the world?
Why did they change it? Because they did the top 15 last year.
Yeah, I mean presumably I
guess the whoever came in last year was like, this isn't.
Yeah, right. Like we all need the right to play, and I don't know. I have no idea. It's a joke. It's terrible. What else you got? Non-sports.
What's tonight? Tuesday.
Yes.
Nah. Best Medicine. I
do like that show.
Have that on Fox. One Piece season 2 on Netflix.
What?
It's like an anime show.
Okay.
People are into it.
Yeah, you say so.
That's it.
That's it?
Yeah.
Wow, that's depressing.
You're watching UMBC basketball.
That's true. That's true. And there's going to be a read in Glen tonight too. Actually, yeah, we've got making some travels today.
And the Wizards play too. Yeah. So.
All right, so nothing then. All right. Thanks today to Trevor Rogers. Thanks also to Marvin Lewis and the Chad Reuter. We'll get all that up in the greatest hits section of the.
Colbert's going to have Michelle Pfeiffer and Dave Matthews on.
They're going on tour. Tab at Glenn Clark Radio.
The Michelle Pfeiffer, Dave Matthews.
But why just Dave Matthews?
Just Dave, yeah.
Like to talk to him about the
like
war?
as a guest. Well, it is Colbert, yeah, probably.
Like, is that why just Dave Matthews? What is he play? Is he in a movie?
Is he gonna have like a Sirius XM channel again?
I don't know.
Does he still have that XM channel?
I have no idea. It's just weird that it's just him. Like he does. Was he gonna scat through the interview? Like it's just
maybe they should. Yeah,
it's weird.
They should do that.
Tab at GlennClarkRadio.com. Tomorrow on the program.
Actually, yeah, I think Drew's back.
Oh, that's unfortunate. That it?
Yeah, stuff and things. Other stuff I gotta confirm.
Oh God, that is depressing. Please tune in anyway for Glenn Clark Radio.
Well,
I'm
gonna make sure I confirm it.
Thanks to everybody at Pressbox, all of our great sponsors and partners, including Live Casino and Hotel Maryland, the Costas Inn, your Baltimore area High's Dairy Stores, Leading Edge Auto Body, Warnken Law, 1-800-GAMBLER, HelpMyGamblingProblem.org, Quigley's Half Irish Pub. Be prepared. We've got something coming for you on opening day. We got plans. We'll be announcing them here in a couple of weeks. Quigley's Half Irish Pub. CountySports.zone, your local Toyota dealer, and buyatoyota.com. Thanks to Griffin at Griffin_Bass. Follow us, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Glenn Clark Radio. Have a great Tuesday evening. Go UMBC. Duke sucks.